Hello, listeners. This is Joanna from Mindful Counseling. I am here to talk to you about burnout and what is it about some of the things that we have a tendency to do that results in feeling burnt out. I feel like I come across this term from many individuals, colleagues, friends, as well as others, and I feel like it's a word that just comes up a lot, and I don't know if it just comes up more, or maybe we are becoming a little bit more aware what burnout is, and whether or not we are doing too much, always running around picking up extra responsibilities or responsibilities being given to us. And so I'm not quite sure if it's a term that comes up more so in the last 2 years, 3 years, or if it's always been there and we're just more aware of it now. So some of the symptoms of a burnout, which I've been through, I've definitely have felt it myself, is exhaustion, frustration, anger, pain, aches. Those are like the main ones that I notice and that stand out. Irritability being one of those. Tired, exhaustion being one of those. Pains, aches, in other words, headaches, shoulder pain, backaches seem to be more prevalent. So why did I choose this topic as a way to do the podcast today is because I do see it, I do hear it, and I do talk about it a lot. And what is it that we can do to feel less of a burnout? So just be aware of yourself and your own responsibilities and what you can and cannot handle, and whether or not we are doing as a way to be busy, to always be busy, or to possibly run away from things that we don't want to do. Who knows? Each one of us is such a different and unique individual that we all have a tendency to do things in different ways. But the idea of feeling burnt out, actually, I don't even know if it's an idea or if it's just a fact, is that we do a lot. And what I see, what I hear is either people working too much and overtime along with their own personal responsibilities, or people being laid off or losing their jobs, and whatever feelings might come up with that. So some of those individuals who are left working where others may have left is being, I'll use the word stuck maybe, with added on responsibilities, tasks, projects that seem to either never end or end a lot later. And how do you manage it? How do you prioritize, if you even can, let's say the 10 important projects that are now laying flat on your table? Are we living in a world today, and I know there is a past, but I'm just focusing on today, where we are constantly running, adding on to our tasks, responsibilities, needing to complete? Because if we don't, we have a fear of either losing a job or not being compensated, maybe a certain way. So we're stuck with doing a lot of things with a fear, possibly, which then results in a burnout. And let's face it, let's be realistic. When we feel burnt out and frustrated and irritated and in pain, not being able to focus, can we really work? Can we actually be the best of ourselves when we feel burned out? And how important it is to, and this is the difficult one too, is to take time off. To take a mental health day off. Most of the time we have a tendency to be worried about taking a day off because then we feel like we are playing catch up, even more so when we return. So is there a win-win or win-lose? And how can you apply that to your own profession, your own job? As you're listening to this, you're probably more aware of what you're doing at your job and what you're doing at the present moment. What is it that awaits you possibly tomorrow? What added on responsibilities you may have? And what can you choose to maybe not do tomorrow out of the 100 tasks that you may have to do? And I'm not lying. I have heard this before. The never-ending emails upon return to work or needing to respond to emails, to colleagues, to managers and bosses, and vice versa. So how do we manage the burnout feeling when we are working too much? When we are now postponing our own pleasures, whatever they may be, time spent with family or children or friends, or maybe doing a hike that you always wanted to do, or going away to a place that you've always wanted to go and now needing to cancel it because you need to play catch up. How do we manage the burnout? What are your coping mechanisms? What do you do to rest and to take care of yourself? How do we even bring up the topics of a burnout or having too much to do in the sense of professional or personal work? How do we bring those topics into an actual vocal conversation, the ability to express needs and wants and help? What would make you feel better today when it comes to feeling burned out or doing too much? Is this something that you can bring up to your boss or to your colleagues, co-workers? Can you allow yourself to take a day off? Does your company allow you to take a day off? Do you then return with more responsibilities? What is the right approach? I talk about this today and in other conversations. This is not a daily conversation, but I definitely am aware that it comes up a lot, is how fast-paced we are. Now, when I say we are, what does it mean? I live in New Jersey. Whether it's particular states, whether it's particular jobs, particular countries, I think I can speak for myself, my own experiences, is that we're always running, chasing whatever it is that we're chasing. Maybe fulfillment of life, happiness, promotions, recognition, validation, and still not getting none of those, even though you're always doing. We don't have time to pause. And when we do, what does that look like? I notice that a lot of us have a tendency to either focus so much on the future, sometimes the past, but difficulty in staying present. It's almost like saying we need to force to stay in the present, to have structure and discipline to stay in the present, to have compassion towards ourselves and love and care that even if we feel a burnout or exhaustion from work or other particular events, we can take time to relax. And once again, whatever that relaxation might look like, someone can take only 5 minutes and feel good, as opposed to someone else that can be a whole day, or maybe more sleep, maybe better diet. So be mindful of your burnout feeling when it comes to work, responsibilities, what you're adding on, what is being added on to you, for you. Be aware of your tasks. And now I don't have a magic ball or a conclusion as to what you should do when it comes to your particular title, your particular job, your tasks. My message to you is to just address whether or not what you're doing feels too much. And what is it that you can do about it? What would feel good in the present moment? What can make you feel good even in the moments where you're doing too much? How can you address self-care? Sometimes I tell, whether it's clients or colleagues, take a minute or 2 or even 5 in between some of your most difficult tasks. Stepping away as opposed to running. It might feel good to complete and move on to the next task, but let's also be realistic. It's a lot more common to always have a never-ending to-do list. No matter what we cross off that list, a new task will always become available. Try to prevent a burnout. Take time off if you can. Communicate with others. Express your needs. Anything that you can do to promote self-care, healthy self-care. Until next time, be well.